Hello, you guys.
There.
How are we all doing today?
Hi, Raquel. Hi, Chloe. How are you guys?
Hello.
Doing really well.
Oh my goodness. I'm just so happy about this. This is so exciting. Let me introduce myself and then we can introduce our fantastic guest. This is a special episode this of a WVFI show I've never done before. I'm Raquel, I'm a sophomore here, and we have on Chloe, our station manager,
Hello.
and John McMann from Atlantic Records.
Hi, Chloe. Hi, Raquel. Good to see you. I
Great to
love
see you too.
I love the leprechaun on the Sony headphones.
Yeah,
Pretty
it's a
fire.
great touch.
Put on your headphones.
Oh, okay.
There we go. Oh,
Oh,
it's gonna sound so much better.
love it.
Is my audio coming
I
through
can hear you.
in the headphones or
Yep.
Okay, I got you now.
okay, there we go.
Can you hear Chloe?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, it might just be a disconnect on there.
Okay, cool. Oh, nice.
Well, this is so exciting. Let's see. We already kind of gave you guys what you guys missed. We gave John a tour of the Student Media Center and everything we got going on here. He met Pete. He met me and Chloe. Um, I don't know. Usually, I'm gonna be honest, I'm usually not the mixtape person. My roommate does that part of our show.
Nice.
I know. She's so great at it. And I just sit there and look pretty and start talking. But
Well, everyone has their own talents.
thank you. It's true. I don't know. The beauty about WVFI, I think everybody has their own kind of show format. Everybody does a little different. I was kind of opting for a more like casual chatting, that kind of a vibe.
Yeah,
Listening to music the whole time.
sure.
Yeah.
Conversations.
No, exactly. I think that's what radio was meant for. Besides music. That's also meant for music.
For both.
For both.
For both.
John, do you kind of want to talk about what you do at Atlantic?
Yeah, sure. So I run the radio promotions and radio marketing department at Atlantic. So our job is to get our artist songs played on radio stations all over the country and then figure out how we can market the artist and market the music through all these local radio stations and bring our artists out on the road whenever they're out doing shows or doing promo and record really cool short form content while they're in all these markets and cool
Mm,
places and interacting in the market so they feel like they're part of whatever city they're in.
nice. I love that. Is it fun?
It's a lot of fun.
It
Yeah,
sounds like a lot of fun.
it's a lot of fun. The most fun part is being able to be around the artists, because they're the creators, and that's why we have music and we have
Yeah.
a company that I work for
Yeah.
and radio station that you guys get to play music on.
Absolutely.
Like from this guy, Ed Sheeran. It's awesome.
I remember when I first met you last year, you told a wonderful story about Ed, and Ed Sheeran in my generation, I don't, and you might not want to hear this.
No, I want to hear
He's
it.
kind of been memeified a little
He
bit.
has. He's a bit of
Okay.
a joke these days.
Okay. Really, what's the memification?
Well, you know what? It's never anything like too bad
It's not
because
about him. I mean, not really. It's just like
I think it's
maybe the ginger effect. Okay,
Okay.
but he can't do anything about that.
No, that's immutable.
I remember there's like this one image of him like biting his lip. Am I making that up?
I don't know. That's hilarious. I think it's a lot about like people in general like to you know be better than the status quo and be better than like popular stuff in a
That's
lot of
true.
ways. So I think
Yeah.
that like the mainstreamness of Ed Sheeran makes him a bit of a meme to some people,
To
you
some
know?
people, but there's people who will stand by him. And
I
like
mean,
this era of Ed Sheeran has a special place in my heart.
Why?
This song is just so
Oh,
emotional.
this era. Yeah, the A
This
team era?
era,
No, for sure.
the plus era, like
Yes.
also
yeah.
Ed Sheeran, if I recall correctly, I'm from the New York area. Ed
Oh.
Sheeran broke a record for MetLife Stadium in having the
Yes, he
most
did.
amount of attendees.
He did.
Right. So like, yeah, we can say that he's a meme, but
We can say that he's a meme, but he's a classic.
he's
Like
still
who
there.
else? Yeah, exactly.
He is, but I'll tell you, he's one of the nicest people you'll ever meet.
He
And
doesn't have a phone, right?
that's correct.
Wow, that's
And
wild.
but he's still connected, to his friends and his family and even to his fans, especially. But he really hasn't changed in the years I've known him since the beginning from the A team era.
Wow, you've
Um,
known him for a while then.
Yeah. I saw him in a small venue in New York City called Mercury Lounge. It was like
I
200.
love Mercury Lounge.
Been there?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
awesome.
that was the first place I ever saw him play. And it was really magical. And he, still to this day is the same sweet, ginger, down to earth person, except now he's married and has two beautiful daughters. And but he's just as, you know, thoughtful and considerate and polite and, empathetic and kind as he's ever been
That's
since
so
I've
lovely.
ever known him.
That's wonderful.
Seriously.
I respect about artists is when they kind of maintain their same like genuineness, like Adam Sandler. Like they don't let the money get to their head. Like they're still themselves and they're still the same person. And I think like there's so many like for example, not to bring up Kanye, but
Yeah.
Kanye like fame really brought out some nasty parts of him and really just
Right.
gave him like the fan base and like quote unquote support to be able to just like say and do some really really questionable things that like I don't know. It showed in light like who he really is in a way, and like maybe the money drove him crazy or something. You can make that argument, but I respect people who can stay the same and keep that same like sense of self with them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think a lot of it, he has comes from a wonderful family. His parents I've had the pleasure to meet early back in the day.
This is Ed Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran,
Okay.
and they're just really great people, and he's had such a love for his family, and now he's got a family of his own. And money is way beyond secondary, tertiary, to people who really, care about other people first. You know what I mean? Money is you can't take it with you. So if you can value all the things that you have in this life, then you're gonna do well and you're gonna be happy and you're gonna, make other people happy too. So I think that's part of it is being able to not be materialistic, to feel, blessed with all the things that you get that you didn't expect to have in life. I walked on the campus today and honestly, I've been here many, many times. My daughter Lana is a sophomore here. And when I walk on campus, I always feel like I'm in a special place. And, I said, thank God, I'm so glad I'm here today at Notre Dame
Aw.
with all these wonderful people. And yeah, being thankful, having gratitude.
I love that.
That's one of the most important things that you can, live by.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
So wait, what dorm is Alana in?
Alana's in Ryan.
Oh, wonderful.
goodness. Yeah.
Very cool.
For her.
Yeah, she goes to Mendoza.
Oh, that's
Okay,
so
nice.
fun.
That's
Great.
good location for
Yeah, yeah,
that then.
perfect.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Perfect. She goes to Ulf's.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Just kidding.
Oh my gosh, as a sophomore, good for her.
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh man.
That's so fun. Honestly, I think Notre Dame, it has some pluses and some minuses, but something that really wants to keep you here is just the incredible people you can meet
Yeah.
and the incredible opportunities you get here, but not just career opportunities. I was talking about this with my roommate actually, and I was like talking about how thankful I was that WVFI existed
Yeah.
and that it's so accessible and that it's so easy to join and that you can meet so many cool people here. Because like on one side, like when you think Notre Dame, you don't necessarily think music, you don't think art, but having a place where you can just easily join a club, like maybe even like become a leader in the club, like make an impact in like your own little way without having so much competition with like, oh, maybe I'm not good enough. Oh, I shouldn't even try it. Like, what if they don't let me in? Like, I think that's so special. And I think that's such like honestly a little overlooked part of Notre Dame is how you're really able to stand out when you're passionate about what you do and what you're able to do. I don't know.
Yeah. I would say like WVFI has been such an incredible space over my 4 years here. And like I don't know, I it's I've invested a lot of time into it, but I'm so grateful for all of that time and like the people that I've met, being able to meet Raquel. I mean, otherwise we probably wouldn't have known each other. And yeah, I mean, I feel grateful for the spaces that the university has for us to express our creativity and like I'm a STEM major and very rarely get to be like doing
Yeah.
creative things in the
Yeah.
sense of like artistic
Right,
creativity.
right.
And
Um
also, like, not only the people you meet through these spaces, but just the people you run into, the people who you have conversations with at football games. Like, it's just like, our school is kind of so, not so small, but like so close that you can really just create connections with anyone. And it's not like, super like segregated. I don't know. Alana's super lucky to be here. Basically, that's what I'm saying. I hope she's happy here.
She's very happy. She
Yeah.
loves it. Absolutely. She's so happy. She's so thrilled. She has such good friends, and she loves her professors and teachers, and there's such a great support system and network, affiliated with Notre Dame. Like outside the university, inside the university, inside like with Beyond the Dome,
Oh my goodness.
which I'm involved with. And yeah, there's kind of like nothing like it. When I talk to friends of mine and people that I encounter that, Notre Dame comes up, I always tell them what a special place and a great community. And, how I really believe that all of you students are really, really special people.
I love
Thank
how you
you.
say that, especially like as a parent. That's so great to see how you can see that coming from the outside in.
Yeah, no, I really do. I feel it.
Yeah.
I really do.
I have a question for you, John.
Yeah.
So talking about how WVFI is an outlet for us to express our creativity and, figure out how we want to express ourselves musically or whether it be like a podcast. How do you at Atlantic Records and in your position try to create that same space for your artists and, guarantee that they have the capability to explore the breadth of their creativity, but also while, there are regulations along with radio. So how do you balance those two and create that space?
Well, Atlantic was founded by a man named Ahmet Ertegun in 1947. And
Wow.
yeah, and he founded it. He was a big, champion of gospel and jazz music back in the 40s. His father was actually the Turkish ambassador to the United States
Oh my goodness.
starting in 1935. So Ahmet, was going out and seeing all these great, performers and all these great black artists and creators all over DC and New York, and that's like was his inspiration to bring this music to the world. That music to the world. And he embodied the spirit of what we call in the record business artist development. And so artist development in the way that Ahmet thought of it and the way that we, practice it is letting the artist be themselves. Whatever their vision for their music is, just support it and nurture it and speak to whoever they want to speak to and find fans who relate to them and their music. And so that is really kind of like what we live by at Atlantic, is letting the artists be themselves and be true to their music and their art. And it serves them well, and we're proud of that.
Yeah, I can argue it serves Atlantic well too, because I feel the audience can taste that authenticity coming from the artist, and it makes them want to taste even more. At least that's how I feel.
Yeah, no, it's definitely true. We support them fully in whatever their vision for themselves is. It's a reflection of them. You know what I mean? They're trying to take what's inside their soul and unleash it and bring it to their fans. Ed Sheeran has said a number of times, I've heard him say, especially when he released his last album, Subtract, that he writes songs and while he's writing and doing the recording process and he's listening to them before it's ever released to the public, that they're his songs. And then once he goes on stage at a stadium these days and performs it, or he releases an album or a single on Spotify and Apple Music, then it's everyone else's songs. It's still from him, but until the world hears it, it's his. And once the world hears it, it's the world's.
I have a bit of a controversial question
What?
talking about the visions and how artists pursue specific paths. Has there ever been an instance in which, you're working for an artist and you don't like their music or you don't like their vision from like a personal, I guess it's an opinion standpoint, but yeah, is that difficult to navigate, I would guess?
It's not difficult to navigate. I mean, because music's subjective. Everybody has an opinion about music. Some people, love, he was Coldplay in the background. Some people, it's their favorite artist. And some people, are like, it's okay. You know what I mean? And everyone's entitled to their own opinion. So when I'm, working, I really do love, I would say, all the artists that we're involved with, I love in for different reasons and different, ways. But if I'm not personally in love with a song, let's say that I'm working, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to be just as passionate about it, because that's just my opinion, and my opinion doesn't really matter. What matters is the fans' opinions and, the people in the industry who I'm trying to convince in my job to get excited about an artist and a song. So there's so many things that I could say positive about an artist and a song without interjecting my personal opinion.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's, a real mark of professionalism for
No,
sure.
it really is.
I
Yeah.
I would say like I think I maybe would struggle with not sharing my opinion. But that's awesome. No, I totally understand what you're saying, especially when, there's artists are artists and they're successful for a reason. There's clearly audiences that their music speaks to. So yeah, I mean, that makes sense. And it's glad to hear that you can navigate that.
Yeah.
I think like I like to think I have a pretty wide range of music taste, but there are like some genres that are really hard for me to personally identify with and like. So what I try to do, like what I would do if I was you,
Yeah.
would be to like maybe consult with other people and say, what do you like about this? And then go and support what they like about the music and try and like use that perspective to promote them, Is that what you do? Maybe not ask others.
I'm always interested in other people's opinions and the people I work with, in Atlantic. Like I'm always interested. We're all always interested in what each other thinks of like the new album, the new song, whatever it might be. So and don't forget, like other people's opinions sometimes can sway yours. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like somebody can, people, 3 or 4 people might have an opinion. I remember when Bruno Mars released "Leave the Door Open," Silk Sonic. I don't know if
I
you
love
guys
that
remember
Love
album.
that song.
No, it's
Or album.
incredible. No, so Silk Sonic was the group, and that song was
Oh
one of the
yes,
songs
the Door
on the
album
album.
was a track.
The whole thing was great. And so the first time I heard that song, it was on a Zoom, and our chairman, Julie Greenwald, played it for the whole company. You know what I mean? Like, we're gonna hear the new
That's awesome.
Bruno Silk Sonic
this.
with Anderson. And so I heard it, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm like old, and I'm like like a music I don't know, historian, and I just love a fan of music through the ages and all different kinds of music, and I loved like 70s R&B. And so when I heard that song, I was like, this is fire. Like this is like channeling all this great R&B music from the 1970s.
Let's cue Leave the Door Open.
Yeah, exactly, right. And so I thought it was incredible, but that there were a small handful of people that said that they thought it was not great at all. They thought it was like a caricature, and I'm like, are you kidding?
Oh my goodness.
This is like complete original, like incredible vibes from this song.
Yeah.
So again, as the song, grew in popularity and other people maybe were talking to these folks that weren't as blown away as I was, their opinions changed. You know what I mean? And the next thing you know, they were into Leave the Door Open, and they appreciated it as much as they did all the Bruno songs that they loved from his previous projects.
Absolutely. Do you personally find yourself susceptible to other people, like swaying on other people's opinions?
Yeah, I'm open to other people's opinions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
So what, outside of, the artists that you work with directly, who are your favorite artists? What type of music do you listen to on your downtime?
I mean, I listen to everything. I know everybody says that. But like, I love LCD Sound System.
Oh my goodness, I love them too.
Yeah. Yeah, I love LCD Sound System. I love house music.
Oh my god.
I'm a huge like underground
so fun.
house music.
And you said that you mix yourself?
Yeah, I DJ. I like grew up DJing in like clubs and
amazing.
Awesome.
That's so fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I still DJ from time to time.
Wonderful.
cool.
You
Where
ever
do you
pitch
DJ
anything?
My basement. I got 2 turntables, just like that Technics 1200 Mark II over there. I got 2 of them and a mixer.
That's awesome.
And I DJ for my wife and little Italian Greyhound Vinny.
You could sign yourself.
Here's an idea for a company incentive. Private house party in your basement with you as
that
the
you're
lead.
throwing.
So, crazy story. In the pandemic in 2020, right in the beginning, and talking like April, May. There were some DJs that were starting to do like IG lives. DJ sessions, and it blew up. There's this one DJ I can think of in particular. It was like a mass, like sometimes literally over a million people would show up. And so I was like everybody else, like bored of just being in the house, even after only a few weeks. And my wife, Nikki, and I, I would DJ from time to time. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna like start DJing just for fun because we can't go out. And so I started like DJing for her. And the next thing you know, I was like, let's do a DJ Zoom, like an IG live session.
Mm-hmm.
I did one night. All it was all throwback hip hop from like the 2000s.
That's awesome.
And then I did one that was like all underground house music.
Nice.
And then I did one that was like all pop music for like Britney, Backstreet,
Amazing.
NSYNC, like all the, massive pop hits of the last 25 years or so. And so it was really fun and it was popular. And like tons of my friends and people I work with would be signing in, and some of our artists were signing in and checking it out, and leaving you can comment on everything that's going on. So it was like a party, and my wife,
oh my gosh,
my wife Nikki was like my hype woman, and she was like, just carrying on the party.
Yeah.
And it was just the two of us, but most everyone else was like by themselves for the most part.
Yeah.
Unless they had
dancing
family
in their room by themselves.
No, it was like they were telling me how much fun they were having, like in the pandemic, which is unusual. So then, I got a phone call that this is like May, and I was on the golf course, and on a Friday afternoon after work, because I still worked throughout the whole pandemic remotely, and I got a phone call from a guy named Mike Kaiser, who's our president of Black Music at Atlantic, and he's a good friend of mine. And he goes, yo, John, what are you doing May 24th or whatever that day was? It was a Thursday. I said, I don't know, Kaiser, what do you think I'm doing? It's a pandemic, bro. So
take a guess.
He goes, well, we're going to have the Atlantic Summer Kickoff Party that we have every year where the company goes to a club space in New York. And the DJ I was talking to you earlier, I can't remember his name. He would DJ the party for us a lot. But he couldn't do it for a year because
they were calling you on.
Wow,
yeah,
that's awesome.
So I DJ'd for the company at the Thursday going into Memorial Day weekend.
That's fun.
That's so funny.
How much did you prep?
Oh my God, for days, for a lot. Like I figured out what my set was going to be basically, and then I rehearsed it because I wanted. I'm in front of the company.
You're also in front of music lovers. Like it's not just like people.
We had 12 of our artists jumped into the set. Like
it's awesome.
Some of them were recorded and some of them were live, and our chairman Julie Greenwald hosted the whole thing, and it was wild. It was one of the most fun things I've ever done in my life, and honestly the set could not have been more flawless.
That's awesome.
And
that's incredible.
We should send it to WVFI. We could play it on the air.
Cool. It was over after an hour, and then the executive producer of this event was called me on the phone, and like I'm off air, quote unquote, like it's down, but the Zoom room is still open. Like you can see all the people on the screen, like, and they're not leaving. And so she said, John,
keep it going.
They're not leaving. You want to keep going? You don't have to. No pressure. I said, let's go. I started out with Don Toliver after party, and it was all over for me.
Oh my gosh. I saw Don Toliver this summer. He's such a good performer.
Yeah, he's on Atlantic.
He's incredible.
He's great.
He's so good. I love him.
He's great. Enough about my DJ world.
Well, I mean, clearly, you're interested in music, not just career-wise, but extracurricularly. So, like, when did you discover that it wasn't just something that you like doing sometimes, and it was something that you wanted to, pursue?
My brother, his name is Jimmy. He lives in Boston. He was like an on-air DJ. He had like similar voice to mine, but better. And he was on-air DJ, and I was really fascinated by like the idea of being on the radio and talking to people just like you guys. And it was cool. So I was, basically still in high school, but I'd started doing like practice shows and trying to figure out like, how do I do what he does? And so I got into radio, finished school, started college, and then I got into radio for a bunch of years just out of, passion for, being able to present music to people and like, talk on the air and, be on the mic. And it was really cool. I don't know. It's like, like athletes love to be on the field. You know what I'm saying? Like They love it. And like DJs love to be in the DJ booth. You know what I mean? Whether you're a radio announcer like you guys or in the club and you're in the DJ booth. And it's I don't know, it gives you, or a performer on stage. You know what I mean? Like Ed Sheeran or Don Tolliver, whoever like hits the stage, they get a special rush of like being on stage in front of people in performing basically. And so I really, was excited by that. And that's why I pursued it.
That's awesome. Wait, I should have asked this immediately. Were you a part of WSND or WVFI at Notre Dame?
No, 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 no. I didn't go to Notre Dame.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know why I thought that
Yeah,
you
no,
did.
no, no, no,
I
no.
apologize.
No, I wish I did. No, but I've been to the studio before, and I had a great tour with Pete,
okay.
who we talked to earlier,
Right.
and the engineer, yeah, and the station manager, and they actually gave me a little one of those tubes that was in the original amplifiers from the original WSND that was, I believe, in one of the buildings next to McKenna. There's another building next to McKenna, and that's where the original radio station studios were from the 1940s. And when they disassembled the equipment, they kept these tube amps. I don't know if you know what a tube is. It lights up almost like it glows inside. It's an actual tube, it's called. And they made Christmas ornaments out of these little tubes.
Oh, that's
and it
really
came in
sweet.
the original box from like the
Wow.
1940s, and they gave me one when I was here last time.
That's super cool.
My Christmas present for my Christmas tree.
John, you are just a celebrity on campus.
Oh, jeez.
Wow, that's incredible. That's A-list treatment.
It was really, yeah, I felt special. I felt special.
Absolutely.
But you guys are the stars, not me.
We're the hosts. We're just the hosts here.
Host with the most.
Okay, well, I have a couple of questions for some of our DJs that they submitted beforehand. If we'd like to
Yeah, let's
answer some
go.
of those. Personal question: what is your spirit animal?
Ooh.
Well, my nickname is the horse.
Oh, why?
So I don't know. It was just like when I was in radio, actually.
Oh.
I wasn't the horse on the air, but like just friends of mine, one buddy of mine in particular, I called him the horse as a joke. And then he called me the horse, and it stuck. So I guess my spirit
Wow.
animal is horse.
Okay.
He said right back at you.
Yeah, big time.
All right, well, that's fun.
Yeah.
Raquel, what's your spirit animal?
It's a frog because
Oh,
I
yeah,
love
you do like frogs.
I think they're so cute.
Oh, that's awesome.
I think they're fun. They're
love-
so silly. I haven't touched one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, there are frogs by the lake. You should go frog
Ah.
hunting.
No, dude.
Wait, but I thought you liked them.
I don't want to hunt them. Oh my gosh.
No, not hunt, not hunt. Sorry, that was the wrong word. I meant like go find one.
Go find one. Maybe I could keep it as a pet.
Yeah, they're friendly.
I
They're friendly.
suppose. My last pet I had, my friend was taking care of him and it got boiled alive.
What?
Mhm.
Oh, that's not
They
good.
cleaned him
What
out
was
for him.
it?
His
What-
name was Blubs.
Oh, it was
He
a fish.
He was a beta fish.
Okay.
It
Oh,
was so sad.
oh,
Maybe I'll
God.
get it. Maybe I'll get a. Don't cry.
just kidding.
I definitely got emotional. So, wait, what's your spirit animal?
Yeah, I don't know. This is like I can't ask that question and then not have an answer. I guess if I like on the spot, I would say elephant, but I also don't have a reason why. I just like elephants.
Oh,
Wise.
love 'em too.
I like that.
Wise.
I think my reason maybe I'm like all about transformation.
Love it.
So are frogs.
Oh yeah, the stages of
Mhm.
life.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you in your stage of life right now?
Definitely a
Are you-
tadpole, and I'm about to start growing my legs.
You think you're
Oh.
still a tadpole?
Well, I'm starting my leg growth.
What's the one like what's the half tadpole, half frog called? I forget the
Salamander? No, that's not it.
No, like
Another
like
kind of
the
animal.
stage after tadpole. I think there's a name.
Oh, there is? Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh well. Okay, well,
What's
I
the
know
stage
that.
at the end of a frog's life when you're that once in a million frogs?
A frog.
Prince.
oh, so true. That's a good one. Oh man.
Also, John, I know you had stories to tell about these songs. So at any point, you don't have to answer questions. You can just go on a little storytelling time.
Oh my goodness, I thought I already had, but
Sorry.
No, just kidding.
Whatever you
I'm
want.
just kidding. No, well, the Stones here. This is let's talk my favorite, band from childhood. My parents were into the Stones.
And it's named
And the
after
Beatles.
you.
Oh yes, I know. Isn't that ironically? I know it was, but this is one of my favorite Stones songs of all time, and I thought it was fitting to play in the background with you guys, only because I don't know how much you know about the Rolling Stones. I don't know how much like young people in general know about the
Oh,
Stones,
I
but
love the Stones.
you do?
Yeah.
Nice. But like you could go down like an awesome like journey of music history just listening to like Stones classics. Um, and like their greatest, they started in the 1960s, you know, obviously from London. And like, I don't know, to me, there's no bigger rock star than Mick Jagger. Like the guy is still a goat.
He's the archetype.
He really is. And Keith Richards is the other goat as well, as a rock star, you know, and a guitarist. But they wrote songs together. They were, you know, best friends and music writing partners and producers. And they just created some of the most, you know, groundbreaking, culture shifting music of all time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's amazing.
How do you feel about I've heard this before. This isn't me making this up. Some people say that you're either a Stones fan or a Beatles fan. How do you feel about that? I personally hate that.
Yeah, I love them both. So
Yeah.
I've heard that. I think that that's probably like a dated frame of like viewpoint. You know what I'm saying? Like, 'cause if you go back to like the say the 60s or 70s when they were like the two most popular, you
Which
know,
one do you like?
bands in the world. Then yeah, exactly. So people would say, "Hey, I love the Stones. Well, I like the Beatles." And so maybe it was a little bit of a competition. But now, since they're just, you know, two of the biggest, if not the two biggest bands of everyone's generation of modern music, that all their music is just great. It's like it's impossible to say. I was actually talking about it last weekend, believe it or not. I think with my wife. And it's like the Stones, you could say, is the greatest rock and roll band of all time. And not that you couldn't say that about the Beatles, but the Beatles, like outside of, you know, a lot of different exceptions where they were like rocking, playing the music, they were creating and writing some of the most brilliant pop songs, popular songs of all time. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the Stones went on to, it's insane. They're going on tour this summer.
They're touring.
I have no idea how that's possible.
Are you going to see them?
I want to. Yeah, it depends on the ticket price because it's going to be insane. But seriously, like the Stones are still getting, I saw their last tour and they still crush it on stage. And like Mick Jagger can still jump around like a 25-year-old. I don't even know how it's possible, but they are rocking out loud on stage.
Yeah.
Whereas the Beatles, like, they barely toured in their entire career.
Yeah.
And so they weren't doing like huge world tours like the Stones did. So, you know, no one ever got to see them outside of like Shea Stadium in New York in 1965 or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
Oh, that's true.
You know?
Yeah. So you're saying the Stones have more of a personal connection to their fan? Is that what you
No, I think no, but I would say they have more of a connection to their fans through live performance.
Oh, okay. I wonder what you think. This made me think of like for example, like my little sister, my little brother, they're growing up with all these other music, I don't know, like maybe the youth of America today is growing up with a whole different conception of quote unquote classic music. Or like they're like maybe they think classic music is like
Britney.
like Britney Spears, yeah, or Carly Rae Jepsen's one song. I mean, she has great songs now, not
Or like
Yeah.
Green Day is
Yeah.
like old rock to them, you know?
I know. And I'm like, I wonder what you think of that. Like, do you think
Yeah, do you worry that the influence of the Beatles and the Stones will
Will be
wane with
lost?
time?
I mean, it's not to say that like
I
they
I
John, go
I don't know that they will their influence wane? I don't think so. You know, it's like to me, the Beatles and the Stones, you know, it's like a cross-generational kind of, you know, music. You know what I mean? Like I said, I passed on to me from my parents, you know,
Mhm.
and I've passed it on to my daughter Alana here and her sister Kira, who's at Clemson. And so they know this song. They know, you know, lots of songs from the Stones because they grew up, you know, hearing me play it because I grew up having it played for me.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
yeah, I
So they'll
know.
probably play the Stones to their kids someday,
Aw.
and the Beatles. But I kind of think that, you know, you hear music and you wonder, the question you're asking is, how long will it have an impact and how long will it matter? How long will people want to listen to it? But like, listen, SND, you guys play classical music a lot of the time, right? And these are artists that have been dead for 150, 200 years.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
true.
right.
Beethoven and Mozart, Tchaikovsky, and all the rest. So that music is still, and I still listen to classicals from time to time,
That's true.
and so that music is timeless. And I think that the songs from the Stones and the Beatles and Ed Sheeran, and I'm sure Drake, are going to like last the test of time. Not every song is going to be like, oh my God, do you remember? I can't believe that song was written 100 years ago.
Yeah.
There's going to be songs in 75 or 100 years from now of people that are going to look back, and there may be only like 2 Drake songs, but they might like the entire Rolling Stone Sticky Fingers album, or the Beatles, Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Or they might love, some people are going to say, I know it's 75 years old, but have you heard Drake Views? It's insane.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And especially, I think, that kind of goes hand in hand with, the availability of music and how streaming services has made it possible to listen to any conceivable artist at any given time, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure. And that's never going to end. And that is a really interesting point. That, it used to be that, when I grew up, I listened to radio, listened to FM radio. And, it's still relevant. Obviously, it's my job today. But when I grew up, that's all there was. There was no internet when I was younger. And so, friends of mine maybe liked hip hop, or other friends maybe liked R&B, and other friends like, what we now call classic rock, and other friends like, heavy metal, right? Everyone had their own genres, and other people kind of liked a little bit of everything. And radio stations generally like catered to like one genre or another, and pop stations played a little bit of everything. But for the most part, it was kind of like, each had its own niche, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like today with the streaming services, you can listen to anything. So like kids,
Oh my
young
gosh.
people like that are your ages in college, and younger and older, are listening to everything. They're listening to Tame Impala, and they're listening to Drake, and they're listening to Frank Ocean, and they're listening to LCD Sound System, and they're listening to all this really cool music without any barriers. There's no boundaries of like the styles of music that you listen to, and people are free and open to. People are sharing playlists all the time. You were talking about your roommate making playlists and mixtapes, and that's kind of the cool thing about having access to all the music in the world.
Do you ever miss like the art of like a real mixtape, like a physical, thing that you can hold and hand off?
Yeah, I think it's cool. Like I have a lot of cassettes, like, in my collection. I think that's really, really cool. I think I'm more than that though. I miss, and thank God it's not gone. It's actually getting bigger. It's vinyl. Like I think like I'm looking at all this cool
our
that you guys have.
collection.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's
It
really,
is.
really cool. Like the fact that vinyl made a resurgence is just phenomenal. Like, because I grew up like with vinyl as a kid, and you'd open up the vinyl and you see all the pictures and the lyrics are on there a lot of the time, and thanks to this person, that one, and it's like you're learning so much about your artist at the same time that you're listening to the music. You're getting a window into like all this cool stuff they wanted to share, and the physical artwork of the album, and like that was kind of lost with streaming. And now that like vinyl is back, and young people are buying vinyl, like well over $1 billion a year in the United States, in vinyl revenue, and it grows every year. So I think that's awesome.
Do you presently collect vinyls?
I do. I have thousands of vinyls.
Oh man.
Thousands of vinyls. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
I do. I do, of every different genre, all the stuff, everything. Every artist that I mentioned, and so much more. I have a huge collection of like house music. I have a huge collection of like classic rock, of spoken word, just really interesting like spoken word kind of albums, reggae, some Latin music, and yeah, just about everything. It's R&B, 80s, disco. Like I have a hip hop. I have a crazy collection.
Will you be participating in the upcoming World Record Day, April 20th?
Yes, I love World Record Day.
Yeah.
I do. I love World Record Day.
Uninformed. What's World Record Day?
Basically, like I also collect vinyl with my father. We have a collection which comes really in handy for gifts because I just get him an album that I want.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding.
Oh, so guys, I'm almost at the
Oh, right.
end of the day, but check this out. So this is a perfect like sunset for the experience here.
Oh,
So this guy that you're hearing right now, this is Ray Charles playing in the background.
Mhm.
And so this song is a song called What I Say, and it's one of his most famous songs of all time. He was on Atlantic Records. He was signed by Ahmet Ertegun in 1952.
that's awesome.
And so Ahmet was a, young black kid from rural Georgia, blind. And he wrote all this amazing music and managed to become, they called him the genius, one of the most prolific, songwriters, genius performers, and most influential artists in the history of R&B and music in general, in the United States and globally. And so this song is called What I Say, and you should all go listen to it. Find it on Spotify and Apple Music. Go listen to What I Say, part 1 and part 2, because there's I think somewhere out there, there's only part 1. You need part 1 and part 2, and it's about 5 minutes long. And back then, their songs were 2 minutes
Yeah,
long,
that's a long track.
Wow.
It's a long track, and it opens up with this really cool instrumental, intro. And then you hear this? It's like this call and response thing that's going on. Nobody was doing that.
This is great.
This song is so revolutionary. I'm telling you, everyone listening, listen to Ray Charles, What I Say, part 1 and part 2. It will blow your mind.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. John, thank you so much for coming on today. We appreciate the 45 minutes of your time.
Yeah.
This has been so fun. I've had a great time. We have a little gift for you, too.
We do.
Oh my God.
We have a gift. It
You do?
is our WVFI mug.
Yes. Oh
with,
my God.
Tom Petty.
Yo, this
We
is
love
great.
spoofing logos here at
Oh,
WVFI,
man.
clearly.
That is great. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
Yeah,
coming. We
Over a
appreciate your
dozen
time.
listeners.
We
Awesome.
do. We
That's
have
great.
several.
Yeah, that is so cool. Well, you
Oh.
guys are really welcoming and talented and great questions. It made
Oh,
me feel
thank
right
you.
at home. And this was
Aw.
really a lot of fun. And I'm appreciative of the invitation.
Oh, my
It's
God.
been a great time.
Thank you, John. That's so sweet.
Of course.
You have a great time here,
Yes.
touring the stadium and whatnot. I'll
Oh, my
see you
God.
again at 6 p.m.
Yes. Awesome.
And tune into WVFI anytime. We're
Let's-
always streaming. We're
Let's
always
go.
here.
Go Irish.
Go Irish. Thank
Irish.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.